Can I ask y'all if it's not too personal? Have y'all had those conversations with your fathers about how he's
Lord.
made you feel in the past?
I totally when I want to say as recent, well, I guess it's not recent. God, we're old. I was going to say as recently as 2004, like that was yesterday or something, but was when I
That was
had
6
was when I had like the
years.
conversation with him because he actually didn't show up to my high school graduation, and so I stopped speaking to him for however long that was, what, a year and change. So I stopped speaking to him because he didn't show up to my high school graduation. I don't even remember what his excuse was, but honestly, I didn't give a shit about what his excuse was. The fact was that he wasn't there for me, and I've, because of how I grew up with him, I've always put my dad on this pedestal. I am still at 35 years old, daddy's little girl, you know. And so I always, I guess I put myself on a pedestal when it concerned him too, because I would be like, oh, daddy might do this, but he would never do that to me, So when he did
Mm-hmm.
do that to me, that's when, I had a whole big, 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 big issue with him. So we had that conversation, and I just took that time to formally let him know that I was putting his ass on ice. And I didn't speak to my dad again until I want to say 2011. So I stopped speaking to my dad for like 7 years because of that. Because, like I said, I had him so high up on a pedestal that I felt like out of out of anybody who he should be there for, it would be me, because I'm his firstborn. I'm the motherfucker who showed him that his shit worked. You know what I'm saying? So if you gonna flake on anybody, it bet not be me. Um,
Facts.
so he tried to reach out to me, and it's funny because you know how we have our recording sessions on Skype. The only reason I got Skype before work was to talk to my dad, and that was back in, I want to say, like, '09 or something like that. And then I say all that to say, yeah, I had the conversation with him, and because I hold him to such a high standard, I punish him more harshly than I would anybody. And I think I carry that into my relationships as well. Like, I won't speak to you don't if you don't hold yourself, if you don't sit on that pedestal that I put you on, because I feel like anybody who I give a chance to be with me is going to be on a pedestal, because I'm not an ordinary woman and I don't fuck with ordinary men. So if you at
Wow.
any moment let yourself down from the pedestal that I put you on, you got to go on ice.
I definitely had that conversation with my father, but my husband made me do it because I didn't want to. I had my father on ice for years, and and it was all because like I had to step into his role because when he left when my mother was still in the hospital, battling a brain aneurysm that she had, and he just could not handle it. Like, while my mother was in the hospital, he was packing his bags at home and he left. I didn't even see him. I got a call from school saying that I had to go to Jefferson Hospital to go get my mother because she was there alone. And mind you, I was out of high school. I was in my history class. I remember to this day. So when I found out really what happened, I put him on ice for a good 2, 3 years. And then he tried to come back in my life. I wasn't having it. I was like, I already had this whole rhythm going around the house because, mind you, my mother, she had a stroke during this surgery. So my mother was in a wheelchair. I had to wheel her around places. I had to bathe her, had to raise my little sister that was a toddler at the time. So I was doing a lot of adult shit that was his job. So I resented him a lot for that. Um, I didn't forgive him for it for a long, long time. When I went to college, I tried talking to him again, like 2006-ish, and I just couldn't talk to him. Like, I was just like, hey, you know what? I don't even want to talk anymore, and I hung up on him. Put him on ice for a few more years, but then when I got with my husband, well, he wasn't my husband at the time, he was just like, you have to talk to your dad. So I finally gave him the opportunity, to have the floor, tell me what was going on at that time, explain his reasons on why he did what he did. And I felt like all his reasons were bullshit. And I tried to keep an open mind with it, but I couldn't. I was just like, that was coward. You're a coward. Like, I don't respect people like you. Still don't. And, and then I told him, I was like, what I learned from him, the good and the bad. And I was like, and I'm the person I am today, thanks to you. Like, you pretty much helped me mold into the person I am. I was like, I have